Top stories: the rights of children being questioned and SADTU expresses disappointment at the cabinet reshuffle. Good morning, I'm Vabakshni Chetty. The Human Rights Commission says no cultural practices should infringe on the rights of children. It has condemned the death of young boys during initiation in some parts of the country. The Human Rights Commission says it's critical that key role players develop collaborative monitoring and reporting mechanisms to jointly investigate and address this recurrent problem. In the Eastern Cape, 30 initiates have died and close to 300 have been admitted to various hospitals since the start of the winter circumcision season. South African Human Rights Commission spokesperson Isaac Mangena says the Commission has a duty to protect the rights of children.
The South African Human Rights Commission is obliged in terms of its mandate to protect and assess the observance of human rights in South Africa, including the rights of the children and the rights of the children to live. We assert that no cultural, traditional or religious practices that place children at risk of losing their lives have any place in our current dispensation. While the Commission is respectful of the initiation process and the diverse convictions of the communities of South Africa, we condemn practices which could lead to the death, disfigurement, impairment of bodily integrity, impairment of dignity of any person, including the child.
The Basic Education Department has reacted angrily to comments that Angie Motshekga should not have survived the cabinet reshuffle. Motshekga has been under pressure to resign after the Limpopo textbook saga, in which thousands of learners went for almost a year without any textbooks. Departmental spokesperson Panyaza Lesufi says Motshekga has achieved a lot during her tenure.
The department is facing challenges on a daily basis, limping from one crisis to another crisis, being drawn to court almost every month, from the question of the non-delivery of learning and teaching support material. All those things that I've just mentioned now, we can't see why she remains.
For example, we have the highest matric pass that have ever been registered by the country. We gave ourselves a target of ensuring that almost 2 million learners or adults who cannot read and write can be in a position to read and write. We've reached that target easily. We gave ourselves a target of ensuring that we will assess all learners from grade 1 to grade 9. We have done so. We've given ourselves a target of ensuring that 80% of our schools will be no-fit. We are now 85%.
The court battle over COPE's leadership between the party's president, Mosiuoa Lekota, and expelled leader Mbazima Shilowa will continue in the South Gauteng High Court in Johannesburg this morning. Shilowa was expelled from the party 2 years ago after a disciplinary hearing found him guilty of embezzling parliamentary funds. Edwin Nsidi reports.
Yesterday, the court heard how delegates to the party's 2010 conference became violent and rowdy and threatened to destroy accreditation equipment after an announcement was made that the registration of delegates was stopped. Cedric Malan, who runs an events company, says COPE officials told him to stop registration as there were too many delegates and that the registration process was getting out of hand. This case is part of the ongoing battle which has been waged over the party's leadership since co-leader Mbazima Shilowa was expelled from the party. In 2011, Lekota obtained an interim court order recognizing him as president of COPE. Edwin Nsidi, SABC News, Johannesburg.
One of the 14 expelled ANC councillors in the Tlokwe City Council in Potchefstroom in the northwest says the community has advised him not to appeal the ruling party's decision. Jim Bottoza and his fellow expelled councillors held a public meeting at Ikanang yesterday. He says the community is waiting for the ANC to give it a proper briefing about the expulsions.
After reporting to the community about what happened in government and the decisions made by the ANC, the community said, I must keep quiet and give them a chance to speak. The community then said, some of them said, Mr. Bottoza, we hear what you are telling us, that you have been expelled and you are still appealing. We as the residents of Ward 18, we don't want you to appeal because the ANC has to come and give us a report properly and not say it in the news.
Further afield, thousands of Zimbabweans have missed the deadline to register to vote in the July 31st polls as the mandatory 30-day vote registration campaign came to an end at midnight. The State Electoral Authority was forced to delay registration closing time from 7 p.m. to midnight owing to a scramble of latecomers mainly in the urban centres. The Electoral Commission's chair Rita Makuru yesterday ruled out the possibility of extending the campaign. National Constitutional Assembly's Lovemore Makudu.
The president can do an amendment to that section 26A. He can decree that it be closed on Monday next week. All lies exclusively in the hands now of the president. Now with the highly developed systems that we now have, I think the voters' roll can be closed a week before the elections. So in this case, what is important is that this date must not be cast in stone, because it's not a constitutional requirement, it's actually a legislative provision.